Welcome to Mixtapes and Mopeds with Red Wheels Panda. Of course, the fastest growing podcast on the planet. Big shout out to our hey, yeah, Andy. I found another straggler listener out there in the great city of San Francisco, California. She said that she caught it from your Facebook posting.
No way.
Yeah, so apparently I have somebody that follows me on Facebook, and
Yeah.
it was somebody
Awesome.
somebody I worked with like 12 years ago, and I hadn't seen her in 12 years. The last time I had seen her, we had just done a video together for our team, and she had remembered it because she was it was actually 15 years ago. She was pregnant.
Oh.
And I went, not by me.
As far as we know.
As far as we know.
Cut. No.
Oh, no, I love her. She's awesome. We had just a good time catching up when I posted her picture on Facebook. Big shout out to Juan and all those fans, Georgia, Alabama, and Washington, D.C., and Phoenix, and Texas, and all over the place.
Lancaster,
By the way,
Ohio.
good, yeah, Lancaster, Ohio, yes. Hey, Sweeneys, we all love you guys. Please go out there and check Red Wheels Panda on the website and TikTok. And apparently, we got a lot going on around there. So what say you, Panda?
Yeah. Hey, well, first off, look at us. It's been 11 days and we got a new podcast. I think it's a new record.
We're doing good.
We
Back to the
are.
old standards.
We are. We were doing every 2 weeks last year, and then we've kind of gone every 5 or 6 weeks, and now, boom, we're back to less than 2 weeks. So good for us. We've missed out on it. Glad that your schedule is freed up a
Lightening
bit.
up a
So
little bit. Yes,
that's good to
finally.
hear. Yeah, good. So for me, what I just got back from the motherland in Ohio, was up there visiting family and got in a nice round of golf. Man, Saturday was like 80 degrees and sunny. Went out to Pine Hill with my brother and Casey and played around
Chamber
the
of
golf.
Commerce
And
Day, huh?
oh my God, it was spectacular. And I know, um, they're about to hit the 5 months of gray gloom, but man, not on Saturday. It was beautiful. And then on
This
Sunday it
was just this
rained.
last weekend.
Yeah, this past weekend. Yeah.
You know
It
who else
was,
was in town while you were there?
who's that?
Mr. Heil.
He was not.
Yep.
Holy cow.
They were back there for Monica's reunion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, he's probably busy then. Okay. Well, bummer. We could have invited him to play golf on Saturday. That would have been fun.
He
But
was out of Valley View playing.
so we had a tea time at Valley View on Sunday, but then it just poured all day. So we moved to Saturday and then just did it at Pine Hill, which is right near where Jeff lives. So it was a little bit easier. I did drive out to the Valley View though when we were out that way, and man, that's really cool what they've done to the place and that the new restaurant and the winery and all that's really cool.
Any visitors, that's a great place to go stop by right there at Valley View in Lancaster, Ohio. Making a stop on
Oh,
your
the
way down to
View.
Old Man's Cave.
Yeah, it's called the View now. I think they changed the name.
Yeah, it's true. That's right.
The View. But then on Sunday, while it was raining, Casey and I went down to the shop and worked on my car. So got a lot more progress. We pretty much have got most of the paint like ground off of it. It looks like a cyber truck. It's just all shiny metal on it now. It looks kind of funky, but that was fun doing that with Casey. So yeah, that was what I've been up to. That's a long drive. It's like 11 hours up, 11 hours back with just a few days up there. So can't be doing that all the time, but it was a good trip.
It's 11 hours?
Yeah,
Wow.
you go up 77 through it's beautiful up through West Virginia, the turnpike,
Yeah.
absolutely spectacularly beautiful, and the roads are in phenomenal condition. And you go right up 77, you hop on 33 there at the river, and you just go straight into town. So it's actually you miss Knoxville and Lexington and Cincy and Columbus traffic. It's just
And
amazing.
you passed by God's University there in Athens, Ohio?
Yeah. It's funny because I haven't been on campus in I don't know 20 years, and you drive by and like, man, that's a heck of a lot prettier than I remember it being. I don't know if they've done any nice ads in the last couple decade or two, but man, it's beautiful there. So
Well, it's because your eyes were always squinting when you were leaving and coming in.
Is that State Street where all the bars are? Is that yeah? I
It's
didn't make it to
called
State Street.
Court Street.
Court Street. Okay,
Yeah.
I figured it was one of those streets. Yeah, I'll have to actually maybe do a detour one of these times and check out some of those places. But yeah,
The
long trip,
CI still
but
exists.
it does.
Yeah,
You're
there's about 5 of them that are still, the old stomping ground still
wow,
exists.
wow.
Yeah, most of them have turned over, but about I think there's 5 left when you go back in time. I haven't been back there in a while myself.
And you worked at that one, right?
No, I worked at the university bar.
Oh, that's right. You were okay. You just
Yeah.
you were Norm at the CI. Got it.
I was Norm at the CI because everybody else was Norm at my bar.
What
That's
about
pretty
you?
awesome.
Yeah, what's going on with
So
you?
out for a big conference in San Francisco, and my big rant of the week, and this rant is actually such a positive one. My this conference out in San Francisco is a technology conference. It's called Dreamforce, and it's a
Oh,
conference.
yeah. It's huge.
Yeah, I mean, at one time, I think back in before pre-COVID, the thing was at the hundred and some thousand people in San Francisco. It was just you couldn't. Was no
Huge.
hotels. You couldn't.
Yeah, right, right.
And I knew it was smaller because I actually had a room at the Westin, which is right next to So I went, well, something's certainly different where not as many people traveling as much. Still packed. I mean, there's everybody was around. And it's such a good conference because I take it to not we're a partner in whatever business I do, but I like there's times throughout the year you just kind of sit back and think, and it's a good conference just to attend and look at some new ideas that are coming out that you may never think about in your life, and you get to listen to a lot of cool people on every spectrum of the planet. And of course everybody's thinking about technology, but I got to listen to the mayor of Cleveland, Ohio. And this kid, I say kid because we're old now, right? i think when you turn 60, then everybody's a whippersnapper.
Everybody's a kid. Got it.
Everybody's
Yep.
a kid, right? And I see this guy, and I really was only attending the session because I kind of had about 30, 40 minutes that he didn't have something scheduled. And I go, it's interesting. Somebody talking about government and how some mayor is now taking advantage of technology. And my goodness, this kid was just fantastic about, we know Cleveland, Ohio. Back in our time growing up, man, it was just a crap hole. Like it was horrible. And the crime was bad, and just you went up there. Over time, some of the mayors have made some good strides along the lakefront, but still, well, this guy's come in, and at 34 years old, he got elected. 34 years old, he got elected. He spent his life savings. He had been working through different from consulting to other. He was on Obama's campaign. He had all kinds of different background, but um, he said, "You know what? So the mayors have not taken in there. These are all lifelong politicians. I'm going to go in there, spend my life savings," and he beat them. And one of his first initiatives is modernizing all the systems. How do we make it easier for our people to go when they have an issue, log the issue? Don't wait and make a phone call. Just get on your phone, tell me what it is, get on our website, log it, and so we can respond to it. So they have done that with been making it easier for them to talk about where the potholes are, why my leaves aren't getting picked up, why something's not getting done, so they can respond to it. And also they're building these AI agents to be able to auto respond to it. And I don't know if you've caught any of these voice AI agents, but that industry has improved 1,000-fold with some
Hmm.
of the better customer service of being able to take your phone call, answer questions along the way. And so he's bringing efficiency into government, and he's trying to drive costs down. He's also trying to do a better service for government. And I think the thing I liked about the most, he said, when I first came into office, something was going on with the leaves, and we said, I'm just going to stop the pickup. We're not going to do it. Because that's when I learned it was the biggest mistake that I didn't reach out to city council and everybody else to find out their opinions. And he goes, I made a mistake. I love that when you hear that from somebody that goes, I made a mistake and fessed up to it, fixed it, and moved on. But great inspiration to hear from But we are not a political podcast. We don't ever mention politics, and there's nothing politics about it. Just gave me a smile about seeing somebody, some city from Cleveland, Ohio, and how somebody's helping to fix it and make it more efficient.
Super interesting. Yeah. Imagine that guy will probably end up being a rising star wherever. I
I
mean,
sure hope so. I
yeah, yeah.
I like that kid. All right, around the horn. So some general things going on. What's heading up with some of the things you've been posting?
Yeah. So last time we talked about that Bon Jovi post or video that we did on TikTok and Instagram, and I think we ended up around 4,000 on TikTok, but we ended up at 39,000 views of that video on Instagram. So pretty crazy. I think when we did the last podcast, it was like 22,000. That was literally in the day we posted it, and it took like 2 or 3 days to get to 39,000 and then it's kind of stopped. But yeah, pretty cool. That's pretty for a 2 month old channel. That's pretty big deal. So happy. And we're up to 2,400 followers on TikTok after a couple months. So that's also good. So we're seem to be growing at a nice clip, about a
The fastest
thousand.
growing podcast on the planet, and now the fastest growing. What is it?
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah. TikTok channel, whatever. Yeah, so that's continuing to do well. So excited about that. But I guess the other question I have is, what about the Bengals and Steelers? I think it was the first time that two NFL teams played each other, and both quarterbacks were over 40 years old.
Really?
So
Nobody
yeah,
played Tom Brady at that same age?
not the other quarterback, not over 40. No,
Huh.
I mean there aren't that many quarterbacks that make it that far. So the fact that those two played each other on Thursday night, it was a hell of a game. And
I caught
actually,
little bits of it. I was flying back on that night. I think I was watching it on the plane.
oh yeah, it was a great game. Both quarterbacks did amazing considering again their age. I think Rogers 41, Flacco's 40. So the quarterbacks were kind of the stars of the game. But yeah, interesting to see that. Bengals were left for dead after Burrow went down and they lost four in a row. And now with Flacco, they're like, well, maybe we can hang in there. And Burrow's supposedly going to be able to play the last 3 games of the year. So who knows? I guess we'll see.
I saw a post. I think it involves Flacco came from the Browns, right? The Browns cut
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Yeah. So there was some post that was made about the Browns that goes along with your story there. The Browns are paying 9 quarterbacks this year. One of them,
Unbelievable.
Flacco, is on that list.
Uh, I think he was because they
Cut
traded him
him.
to the Bengals,
Oh,
and I
okay.
think they had to pick up some of the contract in order to do that because yeah, Bengals didn't have the money to pay a third quarterback kind of that big money. So yeah, Browns. I don't know what's going on up there. They just need to start over. I think.
Including the owner. Yeah.
Yeah, including the owner. Yeah.
So I think what I had around there was so the as soon as I got back from the San Francisco, the next morning I was in an RV headed off to Auburn,
Hmm.
um, and you know certainly there's no question in this podcast we are Ohio State fans, right? I mean we scream Ohio State. And I went to Ohio University, but and I married into Alabama and Penn State and Texas Tech. And then the kids go to Auburn and South Carolina. And so, as Buckeye fans, we grew up with a lot of, oh, come on, we'll make it. And now, for the last like 15 years, we're kind of living in the world of holy smokes, we're going to win every week, right? No matter what, we're always thinking we're going to win every week. And I went to Auburn, and you're like, wow, those fans, you just feel so bad when you go in, run into fans. They're just so dejected, right? They think they had it at the beginning of the season that they have a shot at possibly winning, 9-3 or 10-3, and being somewhere in the CFP. And you go to a game, and it was an overtime. And when you go to an overtime game and you lose, you just feel like you just get kicked in the gut and going. And I felt so bad for my son. And he's like, God bless. We can't catch a break. I mean, all their losses have been literally one score games.
Yeah,
And
they
that,
have.
I mean, just it's such a gut punch. And you know that now their coach is probably going to get fired because he's had some crappy luck, and he's a great coach. I mean, even my son Stone got to meet him on campus and said he was just the nicest person around. Talked to him for 2 or 3 minutes, and I just hate seeing that when you've got a good coach and he can't seem to find the right quarterback or just that right little mix to go turn the corner. But yeah, anyway,
Yeah, that is
I'm
tough.
not
But
the one writing the checks.
well, they're gonna have to stroke a big check to let him go and bring somebody else in. Maybe they'll pick up James Franklin. How about that?
Oh, please. That's what they were saying. James Franklin was that. So everybody's saying James Franklin. I want to see him go replace Bill Belichick at North Carolina,
Oh, jeez.
which is the biggest train wreck of ever,
Ooh,
ever. Now,
I
granted, that dude moved into a place that had zero talent left on the board, but you'd think you'd
but
be able to have somebody could score a couple touchdowns in a game.
it's just the optics are so bad. You got a 70 something old coach out there and a 26-year-old girlfriend who's on the sidelines, like wherever he goes, like he needs a nurse or something. It's just not optics are not good there. Just
I
I
love my
think
wife. I love you, honey. But if there's a better way to go,
what I mean, yeah, it's hard to have a lot of sympathy for the guy, but from a football perspective, it's a little bit strange.
yeah, I have no sympathy for that guy. He's getting every deserve he's getting on yes, everything about him in life, the grumpy old snot.
Yeah.
All right. Where are we at? Ready to see. We are coming up on cities. So, well, one of the segment one here, okay, we had a cool idea on we can all, wherever you grew up, whether it be Pennsylvania, California, wherever you grew up, we watched from the 80s, for those who were around then, listen to this podcast, or even if you're born in the 2000s, how your cities have changed over the course of time. Well, we've been around pretty much like the Panda and I have been around a lot of the same cities through that course of time and have traveled in and out of those cities. So we just thought we'd pick out a few cities and we're talking about some of the changes that we see from the 80s to now. So Panda, I'll go ahead and throw it your way. Start off. What's your first one you want to talk about?
First one for me is Austin, Texas. So I lived there from 92 to 94, and it was a bustling city, growing business from Silicon Valley. We're just start, Apple had just moved there, at least a part of their operation there. So it was IBM was there, and there were some chip divisions that were moving there. So it was just at the beginning of really becoming what it is today. And you could go down to Sixth Street, and there were bars and restaurants, and it would get crowded, but it was pretty well contained. Traffic was a little bit rough, but manageable. And I went back for South by Southwest uh, technology conference a couple years back, and I hardly recognized the city. Like they've torn down so many like the bars. Like Liberty Lunch was my favorite music club in Austin, and that one's tore down so they could put a 70-story building up there. They've it's just the traffic is just atrocious now. They have not kept up on any of their infrastructure. They've got, obviously Tesla's moved there. They got all these mega uh, corporations that are moving to the suburbs. The traffic's getting worse. Downtown is kind of cool in one respect. They've expanded beyond Sixth Street. They got a whole slew of other streets with restaurants and all that. But when you walk down there, it just smells like the homelessness and the just
Oh,
the urine
oh.
smell, and it's just not the same feeling 30 years later. So, and that's the challenge that any town has when they are as popular as Austin has been and growing. And I got others on my list that are similar, but I don't think that Austin has done the great job with its infrastructure and managing that growth relative to some other cities. So that's number one on my list, I think, is in terms of the change that probably hasn't been great.
One of the good news about Austin, what they're adding is $6 billion worth of a transit system. So they're finally getting rail coming in. So you should see at least a little bit better on from a traffic standpoint, and it actually has some great destinations it's going out to. unlike
Good.
sometimes when they're planning that out. But this one's hitting bat out to the suburbs. I
Good.
can't remember if it has a connection to the airport or not. It's got to have a connection to the
It
airport.
have to, right? You would
Has to have
think.
one to the airport,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they're putting in a pretty good infrastructure,
Good.
six billion bucks, and that started out about 18 months ago.
Oh, good.
I don't
Good for
think it's
them.
done until 2028, but at least it's on the plans, getting
Yeah.
ready, and that'll
Exactly.
alleviate. You'll see overnight that'll alleviate a lot of that traffic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably see some skyrocketing homes that are going to be near that type of travel too.
Mm-hmm.
So for those that want to commute to the airport, want to live nearby it, it
Yeah.
becomes a whole different change in the housing structure. Well, I'm going to start out at our motherland, the Lancaster, Ohio. For those, and you could say a lot of towns throughout the Midwest when we started seeing the manufacturing change, and I think it all started out when we passed the bill when we opened up the I can't remember opened up the Freedom of Trade Act of way back in the 90s. All of a sudden, manufacturing just started shutting down. I mean, in Lancaster, Ohio, we are known as the glass capital of the world. We made so much glass and bottles and everything. And there's not one left, not one glass company. There might be some small factory, but all of that manufacturing is gone. The automotive manufacturing is gone. So when you see some of the change, we went back through a period of time where it's just the downtown was a wreck. When in like 1949, Time Magazine had it as like the number one place to go move to because of the boom it was having and all the manufacturing going on. And we then go 30 years later, 40 years later, and going into the crap hole fast. And so, that with the change now, I feel like there's another turn going on. It seems to be there's some pickup to try to have an investment in the downtown. So,
Yeah.
as people start getting ticked off and want to do something different, they do seem to be trying to get some sort of new companies to be moving in and make a change on the employment. That's the problem. If you, as soon as you move the employment, it all just goes to hell really quickly. Cleveland, Ohio, the mayor was having the problem with that too, bringing in employment, trying to attract more companies to come to the place, and that's what those cities that died. You had to figure that out.
Yep.
The reverse of Austin.
Yeah, it really has been. And you're right. There is the downtown area is light years better than it ever was when we
Yep.
lived there. So they're restoring some of those buildings. They're converting them into office and lofts and restaurants, and they seem to be, not every place survives, but most of them are. And yeah, it's actually a viable place to go down and grab some dinner these
Making the
days.
turn. I'm gonna say the one thing it seems to be making the turn when they started getting rid of the pill factory, whatever the pain pill that was just seemed to be prolific. It seems to me when they figured out how to shut that down, from the doctors being able to give that stuff away, it seems to have slowed the thing down for Lancaster, Ohio.
Yeah.
What's your
All
next
right.
city?
Yeah. Next one for me is a similar story, Nashville, Tennessee. It's kind of Austin, but they haven't done much with their infrastructure either. It is
Nash Vegas?
Nash Vegas, just the downtown area, which was basically boarded up and abandoned buildings when I was there, is now just, and we've talked about this in the past. It is like Nash Vegas these days, and the tourism and all of that. So it can get pretty gnarly in the traffic in Nashville, but it's still such a wonderful city with there's lakes and I love the homes and the history and the neighborhoods. It's still a cool city, and the Vanderbilt obviously a special place for me. And that campus is getting even more beautiful than it was. They're putting up these spectacular dorms and buildings and their sports facilities and all that. So, and
And
then
a
the
new
down
stadium
and
for
a new
they're going to name it
stadium.
Pavia.
Yeah, right. Diego's
Pavia Field.
world. Yeah, Pavia Field. Yeah, the Titans are building a new stadium across the river. It's
Yeah.
going to be massive, and Vanderbilt's redone theirs. Yeah, they should probably rename it after him. Can you believe Vandy in the top 10 in college football? Did we ever
I
think we'd see that?
love it. Oh, I
It's
love it.
awesome.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah,
Right. I am
yeah.
cheering them on.
And the baseball field that I played on there was basically a glorified high school field. They're in the middle of a new renovation to the baseball field. It's going to be spectacular. So kind of cool to see what's going on in my alma mater there. But Nashville, just a great town. It's struggled under the weight of all of that, influx of new residents. But I think they're managing it a little bit better than Austin, at least from what I can tell.
They're trying to get a transit system, but they're failing miserably. It looks like they're going to get a tunnel, like Vegas. They're going to get a tunnel from the airport to downtown. They're starting
Huh.
to. That looks very real, starting happening very soon. So you can get cars moving back and forth from the airport, keep them off the highways.
Mm,
That's a pretty cool
interesting.
tunnel in Vegas. Yeah, you can get all the taxis. It's full of the Tesla taxis that go back and forth.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's cool.
Helps traffic out a lot. I'm gonna go to where you and I started out, and I should say you started out in Atlanta, Georgia, in 1989. I came around about 1990 and starting to visit. But coming through at about that time, when we learned about the Olympics coming here and just sitting back and watching the growth of Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, it's kind of what Austin went through in the last 10 years. Atlanta just exploded. We hear about everybody when they're driving through Atlanta, the traffic, and you and I have always figured out how to manage a lot of that. You just gotta
Hmm.
go. You just don't go at certain times of the
Right.
day. Stay off the roads. I don't have any problem. I don't go during those times of the day and try to manage any through that train unless you get stuck, right? And you have to go through that. But the amount of growth, I think that mayor from Cleveland said, what's successful is when we see the our favorite bird, the crane in the sky. And I'm listening, going, the
Hmm.
crane in the sky. And I was like, oh yeah, Atlanta. You'd go look and go,
Hmm.
there's 12 cranes in the
Yeah.
sky
Yeah.
building more infrastructure. And it was unbelievable. And now we're down to two or three. So you go, all right, so slowing down. I saw my first crane in our town here in Alpharetta here this last week. We have our first kind of more of a high rise going in. So the cranes are moving
Huh.
to the suburbs.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So
Where's that going? Where's that going in?
right downtown, it's
Hmm.
just north of the downtown. So if you get the
Hmm.
main intersection,
Hmm.
it's still only, I don't know, it's like only maybe 10 floors, but it's kind of the first one besides the one they already built down there.
Huh.
Um, just
Interesting.
business. Yep. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's medical or if it's, I mean, I don't know too many businesses that are trying to get an office space, but they're putting one more in.
Okay.
Oh, we were just watching it, so certainly the whole MARTA system expanded, the highways expanded. It's just absolutely amazing when you have that population growth. And the population used to be in that little center of the little round beltway, and then just a little north of that. There's not too much past that. Cow pastures and go to the horse farms, and now it's exploded. The people live all the way up to Dahlonega.
Well, a lot of cities are constrained by, at least in one direction, if not several directions. Atlanta is going out in all directions. There is nothing stopping the growth. It's north is crazy, south is crazy, east, west. It's just growing in all directions. So,
Every direction's
yeah,
crazy.
it's like
Yes.
Dallas in that regard, just growing everywhere.
Oh yeah, that's another one. Good that has the same problem.
Yeah,
But we see that from the 80s to the 90s, and a lot of it has jobs. So many companies move to
yeah,
Atlanta. When the jobs go there, the people are going to move to the jobs. Where
yeah,
the cities that don't have the jobs, the people are going to leave.
yeah. All right, well, I'm going to just go really briefly because these two are very similar, but Columbus and Cincinnati, in my view, are towns like Columbus was like Cowtown, Sleepy Town in the 80s and 90s, and now it's this totally, the downtown area with you got Nationwide Arena, you got the soccer stadium, you got the baseball stadium, there's everything that's kind of going out from that up through High Estates, doing a complete makeover. So, and they're doing an okay job keeping up with infrastructure. The downtown 70 through downtown, if you haven't driven through there, they've got pretty close to fixing that real congestion when you were going 70 westbound through downtown. So they're doing a better job in Cincinnati as well. when I lived in Cincinnati, over the Rhine was not, if you found yourself in over the Rhine, you hit the gas and got out of there as fast as you could. And now that's where
One
all
of
the
the reasons
bars
I
are.
didn't go to University of Cincinnati was
Yeah,
that.
it's right close to that. And now it's you walk through there, they've renovated those buildings, there's shops and bars and restaurants, and it's as safe as can be. And everybody is moving downtown to Cincinnati. Like Casey lives down there in an old bank that they've converted to lofts. There's a big PNC uh, building right across from where theirs are that is, half of that is being converted. There's another building right next to that where almost all of it's being converted. So you got uh, Paycor, which is Bengals, you got Great American, and then they're going to redo the hockey/basketball arena right next to the Red Stadium. So they're going to have, and they got a soccer stadium right near downtown. So that's just another downtown that is so cool, very walkable. So, and then Cincinnati always has kind of their suburban Mount Lookout, Mount Adams, all these really cool pocket neighborhoods that are so cool that are still there. So, it's those two cities, in my view, are growing. They're not maybe growing at the pace that you saw in Atlanta or in Austin or what Nashville is going through, but they're growing pretty well and managing the process, from what I can tell.
Flip side of that story is San Francisco.
Yeah.
So San Francisco, it's very interesting because I go back. I'm there almost every year, so it's been every year since probably I don't know 95. I've been going back and forth to San Francisco for whatever business reasons for along the way. And you traveled out there. So many
Mm-hmm.
companies were based out there.
Mm-hmm.
Technology, certainly Silicon Valley, but we were
Mm-hmm.
downtown in near Market Street, and 15 years ago, that place was immaculate. I mean, 15, 20 years ago, it was immaculate, just bubbling full. The transit system, you have every kind of transit operation. You've got trains, you've got the shuttles, you've got the thing that climbs up the mountain, every type of train. It's just awesome to go see. And then, man, I was just back there for this conference, and every retail shop, every like residential around that area gone. I mean, there was just like restaurants that I used to go to around that
Mm-hmm.
area. They're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Just finding a place to just try to find a dinner when I was staying at the Westin near one of the parks there. I think it's Grant Park. That's not the right, but one of the parks. And I mean, there used to be a ton of little restaurants around the outdoor, gone. And I thought, wow, is the whole town of San Francisco? And then we were at a concert at Chase. I saw Metallica. Boom,
Oh,
boom, boom, boom. Eighth
jealous.
row, eighth row.
Oh my. Oh, how are your ears?
It
Jeez.
was not bad. They had
Oh,
the whatever the sound engineers doing a bunch of old farts there.
yeah.
While it was loud, it was nowhere near loud as Rolling After Midnight. It was nowhere near loud as Judas Priest. Um, it was easily. I mean, they were awesome too. Um, but then when we were down there, it was by Chase Arena, kind of going towards the Giants. And so we were riding buses, and I rode a scooter on the way home because I avoided all the traffic riding a scooter back. But that's when I noticed. I went, "Oh, this used to be like rail yards and trash of the city, and just completely torn up. Everybody moved down to that area and regentrified
Oh,
this area.
uh,
So now all the businesses, and you can see bustling real estate and all the
hmm,
the workplaces. They just moved from kind of where the homeless area all took over and said, I don't
hmm,
want that anymore, and put it somewhere else. And it's as clean as could be. Just, it was awesome. So
hmm.
if you're going to San Francisco, go find, you probably can't go back to the typical area. Go to the new
Interesting.
area near Giant Stadium, near the Chase basketball arena. It's beautiful. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I
Yep.
love that city, but yeah, I've heard, and I haven't been back really in years. So I've obviously read about the homelessness and all of the challenges that they've had there. So that's good that at least there's an area where you can go enjoy the city because it's a spectacular city, just what it
San,
is.
I mean, San Francisco, for whatever reason, seems to get it's the craziest of the crazy. That's the challenge. You go, golly. You're walking down the street and wow,
Got
just
a
screaming
special kind
out.
of crazy in this.
Right, especially. Oh, here's my special kind of crazy. I'm leaving and I've got about a mile, 1.2 mile walk back to my place, and I look back and I see this guy this wheelchair decked up like it's the Burger King wheelchair, and he is in a Burger King outfit with a, and he's driving his wheelchair. I feel sorry for the guy, but he's got this most annoying thing, and the most thing I can say is the Woody Woodpecker, wah, wah, wah. And it's in this wheelchair, and it's playing as loud as a fire engine truck. It's screaming loud, and I'm going, oh my God, that's so annoying. And he's driving that thing. I'm going, am I like metal to this guy, and this is his magnet? I walked for 1.2 miles, and that dude would just keep. He was always 30 feet. I don't know what it was. I don't. It wasn't like he was following me, but he was always behind me, going bah. So everywhere I go right now, it's all I hear in my head is bah bah.
Woody Woodpecker. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, but San Francisco, new part of the town, looks really good. Same thing we used to know so many years ago. It's gone. It'll come back, but right now it's just ugh, torn up.
Well, speaking of Metallica, so I got went online last week and got my Rush tickets for Cleveland, the very last show, and then they just released like 17 or 14 new cities, and one of them is Atlanta. So now I got to get in line and try to get tickets in Atlanta, and I'll have to sell my Cleveland tickets. But I desperately wanted to see Rush one last time, and so but it's like a year away, so I gotta.
I just got invited to go up to Madison Square Garden to
Oh, wow.
so guys getting tickets
Oh,
to
nice.
he
Very
said,
cool.
yeah, so I'm gonna go up there. We're gonna stay up there with he and his wife and check out Rush. And I said, hell yeah, just sign me up. I'll go.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. And Madison Square Garden, oh my God, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah. So we're all in on headed up to Long Island and head
Long
over to
Island.
Madison Square Garden. All right. Next segment is our Dirty Niner. And this is a cool Dirty Niner because we all have. I was watching it this weekend and watching some of the football and watching some of the baseball even going on. And we always had our favorite sports commentators. So you go, you know what? Be a pretty cool thing. Let's go pick out the Dirty Niners. And who are the best sports commentators? Those guys that you just love or ladies that you loved and listened to, and throughout time. And I mean, that list, we probably could do 10 shows on this one
Mm,
of the list. The Andy 150 top songs of
yeah,
all
there you
time
go.
because he couldn't make it in 100.
Right.
So we'll kick it off. We're going to start at number one. I know we're going to leave some of these off the list. We'll have some honorable mentions at the end, but go ahead, kick it off. Number one on the list, Mr. Panda.
This is the guy, and this is, and these could be from any time frame. So this was the guy for me growing up was the voice, not just a voice. He was the voice in sports for me. I was just, I don't know. I think I just had a thing. Well, anytime he was announcing a sporting event, I knew this was a big game. And that for me is Dick Enberg.
Oh
Do you remember
yeah, I didn't
him?
even have him
Oh,
on the list. You're right. I didn't have Dick Enberg. I knew I was leaving somebody off from NBC. Yep, I always loved Dick Enberg. He was fantastic.
and then like in the 70s, he did it was like a game show, but it was around sports. He asked trivia about sports, and he did that, and that was cool. So yeah, he was I mean, he did everything, but NFL, golf, I mean, he just did it all. And he was to me was the GOAT.
Good
So
call. I didn't even have him on the list. That's a really good call. Well, I'm going out. I'm sure this guy's on your list. I can't leave him out. He's my favorite, and I know he's my wife's favorite. He probably, he's on your list as well. But whoa,
yeah,
Nelly! Man,
absolutely.
I just absolutely that guy. I didn't matter what game was on. I wanted to listen to Keith Jackson.
He,
That
he
guy.
was he was college football. He
Yep.
if he was doing your game, that was, and yeah, he was just. I can't even describe the guy, but yeah, he was just
Jolly was just
yeah.
and no, I mean could call the game so well. Just and fair and
Yeah.
balanced. I always thought he was fair and balanced. He didn't.
He really was. I remember he called the the national championship game Ohio State and Miami, and he did it with Dan Fouts. And Keith Jackson was, like you said, just fair and impartial down the line, and Dan Fouts was like, jonesing for because his teammate Kellen Winslow's son was on Miami, and so he was just all over Miami. But Keith Jackson was
You could actually
just
listen to that game.
well, I I was in your basement and I was watching you. I was watching. That's right.
Woody
I had somebody
Woodpecker.
in my ear. Somebody in my ear. Yes. We won't go any further than that. And I was watching you nod your head back when you were sitting on the floor, resting against your couch, and you just at one point you were like sprawled back onto your couch. I think by overtime, you weren't anticipating overtime when you were doing your drink schedule.
Yeah, the problem was I was prepping ahead of time, and I shouldn't have had my preparation libations at the same time.
Oh man.
All
So
right,
great
number
choice.
3 on the list.
Number three for me is Al Michaels. Just,
Another one I didn't have up here, but that was definitely he's definitely up there.
I mean, so he started with the Reds, and I was too young to know that, but um, and then worked his way up to Major League Baseball. But for me in 1980, just calling the Miracle on Ice up at Lake Placid,
Oh, that's
that
yes.
is such a legendary call. He rose to that occasion, and he's still going. I mean, 45 years later after that, and he's still doing Thursday nights with Herb Street on Prime. So, he's kind of lost his edge, I would say, in the last 10 years, but in his prime, man, there really wasn't anybody better than that guy.
That's a really good call. Man, that's a really good call. I'm gonna go with number 4 here, and I'm really struggling at number 4. I've got so many here that I want to call out. Oh boy, I'm gonna go with the father of NFL football. I'm gonna go with the guy that for every kid that's got a little box at home that plays the game was named after him. And John Madden for me, and listening to him and make the calls, and just some of his persnickety comments he would say. He'd go,
Yes.
"I'm not even sure what you're saying, John, but sounds good."
So it doesn't matter what he's saying because he says it in such a
See,
way
this
that
guy was going over here, and he's going
yeah.
over here, and then he was going over
Yeah.
here, and we zip the ball. You go,
Uh, he was he was one of a kind.
one
He
of a
really
kind.
was. Yeah.
That guy was a very entertaining. He was entertaining when he was a coach for the Raiders. I mean, I loved watching him on the sidelines. He made the great choice in life to drop out of coaching and go sit behind the booth.
Yeah.
So I have him at number 4.
All right, number five. I'm going baseball, and I'm not a Dodgers fan, but to me, Vin Scully is baseball. He is the guy. He is. If you had to pick a guy to do a World Series in their prime, it would be Vin Scully. And I know he was a Dodgers, regular announcer, but he did all of the weekend, games and all that. Did the World Series and all those things. I don't know. It's just his delivery. Something about it was very
He,
succinct and clear. He very clear with his words and very intelligent man. And he was very knowledgeable about the game. And he could really set up his partner, with the right question. And it was just, it's just he was something.
That's a very good call. I had him on my list there too. I thought Vin Scully, I was not a Dodgers fan, but always a Dodgers fan when he was on, listening to him. And then when he would do other games, you had to listen to Vin Scully.
Yeah.
Like the All-Star games, and then when we get into the series games, Vin Scully would be calling it. All right. Getting into some hard picks because I only have 2 left. And I have to go think about what 2 am I going to go pick out of my list. I I have to God, wow. I have 2 or 3 that are just way up there, and I'm gonna go with because it really brought it to me last night when I was watching Sports Center. So this guy was never an announcer; he was Sports Center. he's the guy that created Sports Center. He's the guy that we listened to for the reporting on Sports Center. He was the original ESPN guy that was picked up, and I was so glad he came back because I thought he kind of disappeared off the broadcast. But Chris Berman was back and doing some of the NFL on Sunday night and talking about it was the old Chris Berman. So whenever you hear him talking about the football games and that act, he's got the voice making you excited. And I was always a Chris Berman fan from day one.
He called games and all that, but he was, I think, really known for, like you said, the highlights on ESPN and his nicknames that he gave players. And I remember my favorite nickname, he's given so many, but there was a pitcher who was maybe even a Hall of Famer. I think he might have won 300 games. His name was Bert Blyleven. And Chris Berman
Pittsburgh
comes up.
Pirates.
Yeah, he was Pirates and a number of other teams, and his nickname for him was Bert Be Home Blyleven. That's just a great. I mean, where did you come up with stuff like that? And
He had them all for
he,
everybody. He'd always
he
come up with.
did, he did. He still is. He's hysterical, and he is a legend for sure. And he was ESPN, like you said. ESPN probably doesn't make it without Berman and maybe one or two others, but mostly Berman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was that founder of where we are in sports today. Of so much. He was the best of the
Yeah.
best.
All right, number 7. So I don't care. I'm Homer, and call me Homer. Doesn't matter. This guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. So, he has the cred, but I'm going with Marty Brennaman as number 7. The voice of the
Homer.
Reds. Homer. My brother and I had
I couldn't
little
remember his name. I was going to put him down.
our transistor radios under our pillows, sneaking them under there when the Reds would be playing late. And the Reds won so many games in the ninth inning back then in the 70s. And every time they would win, this one belongs to the Reds. And he did that for 50 years and he took over from Al Michaels, I think in 70 or in the early 70s, and retired just recently. But man, that guy, legendary. With Joe Nuxall was his long time, the old left-hander. He passed away a while back, but those two were just that was part of my childhood. So I couldn't live with myself without putting Marty on the list. So there you go.
You're putting me in a bad spot because I've got 10 more I want to go for, but I'm going to go with the one that's not, it's not a homer call at all, but it's somebody that kind of put game day on the map. Um, this guy started game day, and we just had him retire here recently. And I love the 438 picks throughout the seasons with putting on whichever helmet he was going to go. But Lee Corso, whether you love him or you hate him, I always just he always made me laugh, and he tried to make you laugh and tried to come
Hmm.
up with something that made you want to go watch game day. He could get annoying, no doubt about it. That's okay, but some of the antics that guy put on, I definitely miss Lee Corso when we see game day at the last. Every the last 10 minutes, I'd always want to see the last ten
Yeah,
minutes, see
yeah,
the picks, and see whatever antics Lee Corso was going to do. Now it's kind of the same deal. I got then Pat McAfee's kind of take over some of the antics going on.
yeah. I'm a big Lee Corso fan as well. He was a gentleman. I saw him at the airport after the Ohio State Texas game back in '07, I think it was, and
Oh
he
wow,
he
yeah.
was getting an early flight out, as was I, and I was hungover as all can be, and he was looked tired, and
He had
he's
some
like,
congressman buying you some shots that night.
yes. I won't go into further details on that, but the drinks were flowing. But anyway, saw him, talked to him, and he was just the nicest man. And I love, yeah, his little shtick there on game day, putting the helmets on or whatever for the team he was picking. That's definitely legendary. So good call for number 8. So I will close it out. I've got 6 left on my list as well, so I'll have 5 honorable mentions, and it's really hard for me to not put a couple of these guys on there, but I'm going to go. This is a little bit of a surprise, probably, but I'm going to put Pat Summerall on there because he was
Ah,
Madden's partner, And I think those two were the best ever. The
Ever.
combination
Yes.
of those two.
Yeah.
And as good as Madden was, he wouldn't have been as good without Pat Summerall kind of reining him in and guiding him and making sure that they kind of stayed on track there with their broadcast. And he
And
was
his
another.
Masters coverage too before Jim
Oh,
Nance.
yes. Yeah. So he did everything. Again, like a Vince Scully for me, just professional, intelligent, delivered it just the way it should be delivered. I just think he's a legend. So that's number 9 on our list. And like you said, we could do another list of 9 and still be talking about Hall of Famers here. So it's kind of hard to do this, but anyway, I think that's a pretty strong list we just put together.
Who's your 5 wannabes?
All right, so Harry Carey is a high honorable
Oh
mention.
man, good call there.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm of the current ones, I'm a huge Gus Johnson fan. Love Gus Johnson. Going back to baseball, this is probably kind of out in left field, but I really liked Tim McCarver back in the day. He was a catcher, I was a catcher, but he was really intelligent about the game, and I just liked
He's
his
good.
voice. He was
Yep.
good. Jim McKay, the Olympics,
Oh,
all of
Jim
that.
McKay. I forgot about
Wild,
him.
yeah, ABC's
Yeah.
Wild World of Sports and
Oh,
all of that.
yes.
He was
Yeah.
something. And then I do like Jim Nance a lot. I think he's very strong and does a great job with
Top of
everything
the
he
list.
does.
He is awesome. And
Yeah,
I think he's the father of CBS of the modern day era,
yeah,
taking over from Pat Summerall from a lot of those duties as well. He
yeah.
is definitely, I think he said he's retiring here 2027, 2028. So we only
Oh
have
wow.
only a few
Hmm.
more years with him. Yep. So some of my, also I had on the list too was, Brent Musburger.
Hmm.
Um, certainly was thinking about him. Dick Vitale, certainly with basketball. I mean, I love Dickie Vitale.
Dickie
He
V,
didn't live.
baby.
Yeah, Bob Costas, missed out
Yeah,
on Bob
yeah.
Costas, just fantastic. I also my favorite guy of the whole. I can watch him all the time too on basketball, NBA, and watch Charles Barkley all day long with him and his antics. That
It's
whole
great.
cast. I'm glad ESPN picked him up.
Yeah,
That whole cast is wonderful. I just, I don't watch the NBA, but I can sure watch them talk about it. I can, especially when it comes to March Madness.
yeah.
Um, he
They're
just
they're funny.
he just tells the truth, man. Yeah,
He does. I
he's
don't care what you
straight up.
think. Here's what I
Yeah,
believe. Yeah.
just and not. I mean, usually not, and most of the time not bad, but it's
No.
just it's
Yep.
good.
Yep.
We can't certainly, honorable mention with Kirk Herbstreit. He's one of the goats that's, still earning his stripes, but,
Yep.
definitely one of the best.
Yep.
And throw in Fowler and, Reese Davis too. They're
I like both those
fantastic.
guys. I like
Yep,
them both. Yep.
yep. All right, that was a really good one. We had way too many. Of course, wheels can't ever shut up on some of them. Has to keep on going. I still had 10 more. So, we're going to go to a segment that, hopefully we do with you, and we like to make you think. Think about what makes you smile. What is something that is, out there. So, I have one that I was gonna, I want to. I was out in San Francisco, and, we go. The thing is, you have meetings in the morning, then you go through and you have, sessions you attend. You listen to speakers and you're meeting up with, trying with the customers and partners, and get so much going on the day. And then after all that, there's usually an event at night, that there's a big party at a restaurant, or, some sort of a bar, so you're attending that. And when you get to those, a lot of the times it's sales guys, and they're blah 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 blah, me, I, me, I, blah 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 blah. And I'm at that place, and they're all talking to me about, blah 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 blah. So I'm over and I'm listening to these guys talking about it, and I see some guy over in the corner, and I could see he's kind of a little bit awkward. And nobody was talking to him in a place that everybody was talking to everybody, but this kid was kind of, nobody was talking to him. So, I kind of excused myself from the blah, 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 blah people, and went over there in the corner and grabbed a couple of glasses. I grabbed a couple of beers, and, walked over and said, "Hey, man, you look like you could use a beer today." And so, he goes, "Yeah," he goes, "I'm just got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, and kind of over here, and I don't, he was having a bad day." And so I made it. I started just saying, "Hey, tell me about you. What's going on?" So had a nice conversation with him about 10 or 15 minutes, and it doesn't take much to go put a smile on somebody's face, but he had a smile after a little bit of time cracking jokes. And so for me, that's what puts a smile on my face. Being able to find that kid that was in the corner, that was a little bit awkward, couldn't find a spot, couldn't find anybody who was willing to talk to him. And, somebody that would actually listen to something that, was going on in his life. Something that he wanted just somebody to listen to of a problem he was having. And I certainly enjoyed it. I have no idea what that problem was, and I have no idea what I said. But all I know is I walked away with a smile, and I made a friend, new LinkedIn connection, Jonathan. Big shout out to you, Jonathan. Hope everything's going good, man.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. Good story. Yeah, I go to those events and I almost feel like Jonathan. Like I don't really enjoy doing all the socializing. After a couple of days of doing it, I'm just like wiped. So he probably is just like, I'm done. Get me out of here. So that was good of you to do that. All right. I've got three things on my list. When you pose this, like, by the way, this is the most Wheeler segment ever designed. What makes you smile? When you text that over, I'm like, that is the steviest segment ever. I love it. No, I love it. It's awesome. What makes you smile? I mean, just the description. I love it. So I put a lot of thought into it. And for me, number one on the list, Jilly's baked goods. So
Ooh,
especially her brownies, but a close second would be her chocolate chip cookies.
Jilly, you don't share. Where is the
they,
love? Am
they
I?
don't get by me, man.
I'm not getting smiles, Jilly.
They are delicious. She does them just right, just the way I like them. So that's number one. And then this is obviously fresh in my mind, but and you haven't golfed in a while, but I think you'll relate to this. When you strike a golf ball so flush, so perfectly off of the tee, and you don't even feel the ball hit the club, and it goes straight, presumably, that is just doesn't for a crappy golfer like me. That doesn't happen literally even once within a round every single time. When it does happen, it just feels so good. So that makes me smile. And
I,
then
I
the
don't like that because it's like mine are like the lottery, 1 in 115.
right, pretty much with you, pretty much there. I had one on Saturday and it felt really good. Makes me want to go play some more golf. But then related to that, and I mentioned this earlier, it was a 75-degree Saturday afternoon. We had a 1 o'clock tee time. By the time we were finishing up, there was nobody else in the course. It was 75. It was blue skies. We could just go to our next hole and there was nobody behind us and there was nobody in front of us. We just took our time with just friends. You go out there, you're laughing, you're giving each other crap. It's beautiful weather. It's just there's nothing better than being on a beautiful golf course and you're not pressured and you're not sweating because it's overly hot. That's just another I you're riding around in a car and it's just yeah, that's another thing that made me smile. So great segment idea. I love it. And hopefully you like my three.
I think my two best golfing days have been with you. When you had me out on that one course that we were, I think, with your boss in, I think, San
Oh,
Diego.
it's in Carlsbad. I can't remember the name. That was a beautiful course, though. Oh, Bruce
I just
Need. I don't know if Bruce
Bruce,
listens to
yeah,
this.
Bruce.
Yeah, he
Bruce,
took
if
us
you're
out there.
listening, that was one of
Yeah,
the more fun days of playing golf.
yeah,
And then your pre-wedding or bachelor party that was out there coming down, whatever that
yeah.
mountain course
Mount
was.
Woodson in San Diego. What a course,
Holy
huh?
crap, was
That
that
was,
awesome.
yeah.
That's my favorite course I've played on. I've
That's a
certainly
beautiful
walked a
course.
bunch, but golly,
Yeah,
that's a beautiful course.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That was fun. There we
All
go. All
right.
right. We got
That makes
time to
everybody
stump you, right?
smile. Yes. Now it's come to the time where everybody
Make you cry.
screams into their listening device. Says, Steve, come on, you cannot be this stupid. It. It's Police
Oh.
Academy.
Hey man, you got it last week. You got it. So you're going for a winning streak
Oh,
here.
all right. Two in a row. Let's go for
Two
two
in a
in a row.
row. Let's go for two in a row. All right. I know it's a movie you know. I know it's a movie you like. So and it's from the 80s. So here we go. Hopefully you'll get it. Three quotes. I'm giving you three. All right. First one. It's demented and sad, but social. Okay. Second quote, you see us as you want to see us. Each one of us is a brain and an athlete and a basket case, a princess and a criminal. That was the very end of the movie. And then the final quote, does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Breakfast Club.
Yes! 2 for 2, baby! 2
I
in a
only
row.
I only made the Breakfast Club because when you said the athlete, and I'm going, that can only be a few movies,
Yeah.
and I knew which one. Where was Judd Nelson? Was that one of
Yeah,
the?
Judd Nelson
Yeah,
was, yeah, he was the one that said,
Michael
yeah, Anthony Michael Hall
Anthony Michael
and
Hall.
Emilio Estevez and Ali Sheedy and Molly Ringwald. Yeah.
I
And
would
so
have
there's,
never gotten that if you didn't have that. The other two quotes, nothing.
yeah, that's why I put that one in there because I'm like, you're going to figure out there's 5 people and hopefully that will clue you in. But yeah, well, you're on a winning streak, man. And that
Wow,
was fast.
I didn't even have to have too many other hints that went along with
No, no, way to go. Well done.
it. Well, that means that this was a good episode for everybody. Hey, we want to thank everybody. Please go out to the redwheelspanda.com. Go take a look at our latest post, TikTok, and of course, go watch our podcast. We are the fastest growing podcast on the planet. Mr. Panda, awesome podcast. We'll talk to you, next 14 days?
Yep. See you then. Thanks
See
all.
ya.
Great podcast.
Thanks all.